Mr. Speaker, the member for Castries North and myself are the longest serving members in this honorable house. I, more than him, understand the pain of defeat. I understand what it means to boast all over the world and all over the country that the opposition cannot make it. They have the worst opposition leader in CARICOM. They have no plans. They have a bunch of guys who do not respect their leader. I understand that. I understand when you create polls that say you've won 15 out of 16 seats, and you have other members who believe that they have won elections already, so they can campaign on the radio with political have or has-beens. So they spend hours on the radio, same old story, castigating people who work on people who work all over the place, castigating 24 hours, just saying things. The member for Choiseul had a bet that I, a 5-star general, will lose my seat. Yes? Yes, you did. He was so confident that the rumor that he was saying that I was in trouble in Castries East, the Prime Minister at the time, he took his entourage and he went into Bagatelle. Big entourage, he up front, he walking. I got a few calls. Bossman, they there. I said, leave him alone, just vote. Let's vote. So I understand, Mr. Speaker. I understand when you leave your job and you run elections and you win, and then you are short of winning again and you lose. And you I understand what it is. So I understand. So when the member for Choiseul comes in this honorable house and he says that the Labour Party only won 23% of the votes, so I don't know what you say. Mr. Speaker, right now, we are in a system of first past the post. If you is 50 plus 1. So if each one of us here had won by 1 vote, we would be here and you would be there. So, Mr. Speaker, that is the illusion. That is the illusion that these guys have. You see, I've lost elections already. I lost in 1992. They beat me badly. You know what I did? I went back on the road. I didn't suffer from illusions and hatred and lies. For the 100 days we have been in power, these guys have lied on radio and Facebook every second in the 100 days. Yeah. Yes, every second. They spill, they are all over the country. They call in, lying. Wait, relax. It's only 100 days, relax. Your time will come. Relax, take it easy. But no, they can't understand that they have lost the elections. They can't understand it. There was one who sat there. He was every second. You reminding me? There was one who sat there, right there. Every second. You just start to cry. He was larger than life. He opened his shoulder. He laughed at us. He was, man, they were in their glories. He stood there. Boasting. We asked them for all kinds of things. They had the CDP program. They did not do one project in my constituency. Not one project. When the time came for school support, they gave me $10,000. They gave the person who I beat. They gave the person who I beat. There's no latitude. I'm responding to what you and he spoke about the election results. That's what I'm talking about. It's not no latitude. He said that's why I wanted not to open the door. He opened the door about the electoral process. And I'm saying what the electoral process is about is a first past the post system, and if I win by one vote, I am here and you there. That's what it is. Mr. Speaker, I'm glad he said so. This is the same man, member from Mico North, Mico South, who sat here and was complaining, oh, you're talking about death. There was a short one there. You're using death, plain politics of death. 100 days after he was defeated, you come here and you have the audacity to talk about 189 people dying of COVID. You have the audacity because you can't understand that you've lost, and that's why you're there. You are staying. You come and you speak about, you have the audacity to use COVID. 189 people have died, and you come here and you use that for as a political weapon when we're speaking about an amendment to the National Economic Fund amendment. You talk about people dying. That is how you feel. That's how you feel, Mr. Speaker. But you will not see that under this Minister of Health, the trending for COVID has been very good. Today, and that is a fact, better than you ever had it under your term, better. And there are only 200 people who in St. Lucia who are suffering or diagnosed with COVID. But that's nothing to boast about. We will, yes, it's 200. You playing, you are listening? You see, because, Mr. Speaker, so you come here and you use that for a political weapon, but you did not say that somebody was hanged at the respiratory hospital and you committed suicide. Somebody got hanged and you never even called for a serious investigation at what happened there. And it's this Minister of Health who saw the plight of the nurses and the people who see up the stress at the hospital. You came here and you said that the hospital was never as good as it was before. And when there was a picture, a video of the leaking roofs, the condition the people were in, you wanted to fire the people who were involved. Because you said that the World Bank had said that the respiratory hospital was the best in the region. And it's this Minister of Health who improved the conditions at the respiratory hospital. And you come here and you speak about COVID, 189 deaths. Mr. Speaker, the amendment we are debating, Mr. Speaker, the member from Mico North speaks, where is? South, my apologies. Speaks about a responsible government will not use the money for recurrent expenditure, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if recurrent expenditure is for the benefit of the people of St. Lucia, this government that I lead will use it every day and every time. We will not use it for horses, Mr. Speaker. Let's talk about horses, Mr. Speaker. Let's talk about horses. You come here, Mr. Speaker, and you talk about a responsible government. You also boasted about a sinking fund. You boasted about a sinking fund, Mr. Speaker. I will put this honorable house, Mr. Speaker, and I want you to say to the people of the country, how did you use the money of the sinking fund? How did you use the money of the sinking fund between the years 2019 and 2020? How did you use the sinking fund investments? And the Public Finance Management Act speaks, Division 3, Section 20, a withdrawal from the sinking fund is only for repayment of a debt. You know what you use the sinking fund for? DSH. Yes. You use the CHH fund, Mr. Speaker,
which I'm in jail,
for the entire amount was transferred to the Department of Irish and Sustainable Development and utilized to close the Viewford Solid Waste Facility, $6.7 million, and to relocate the Bosheju Agriculture Facility to Miku for $5.2 million.
For a race to take place.
That is what the sinking fund was used. The sinking fund that was supposed to reduce debt. And you come here and speak about a responsible government. And you come here and you try to threaten people, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I did not want to get involved because I thought that after this United Workers' Party had been so sorely beaten at the next general election, they would pull back. They would go and regroup like us. We lost 11-6. We went back and we regrouped and we continued to work. But no, lies, 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 lies. Anything I say and do, lies. I go to speak at COP, lies. Everything I do, lies, lies. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll tell you something further. We are speaking about a simple amendment in the National Economic Fund. The member from Microsoft talks about firing the CEO at CIP. Did the minister forget this? Exactly. This minister fired the CEO at CIP for no reason, because she was a friend or the member from Microsoft at the time. No reason why you accept that, Mr. Speaker. This for Castro South. He fired him, Mr. Speaker. He forgot. The same member from Microsoft refused to give the daughter of the father of the nation a job because he said he had the power to do it. And you talk about firing people. You talk about firing people. But you know what? You know what, Mr. Speaker? We are very proud of our record for the 100 days you are in government, and we just start to improve it, Mr. Speaker. The member from Microsoft speaks about the National Economic Fund, and with a reasonable righteous posture. I'm so good, you're so bad, you're optimistic things, read all kind of thing about him. Let me tell you about the legislation, Mr. Speaker. He will make you believe that cabinet had nothing to do with the National Economic Fund. That's what he come and tell you to believe. Mr. Speaker, Part 2 of the National Economic Fund. Listen to what I say, Mr. Speaker. You would believe that the National Economic Fund was a completely independent body. It had nothing to do with cabinet, and this righteous Minister of Finance would just send a project for and say, fund, please. That is the impression that he wants to give you. That he say nothing. The cabinet has nothing to do with it. Nothing. So you guys, you all are so wicked. You want to use the money for recurrent expenditure. The involvement of the cabinet in the Solution National Economic Fund is clear in the legislation. Listen to that. Section 12.3, the board may, after consultation with cabinet, grant or refuse an application made under subsection 1. In this section 4, in deciding the grant or refusal of an application, the board shall, after consultation with cabinet, take into consideration, blah, 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 blah. Cabinet clearly involved with further. The board may, after consultation with cabinet, grant a loan. And I made the point at the time when I was sitting where you are. I made the point and I said, if the members, and I repeated it, and you can go and answer it, I said, if the members of the board are people that you appointed, which is most of them are public servants, permanent secretary, director of finance, budget director, chief economist, Ministry of Commerce, Attorney General's office, and 2 independent people. I made the point that if these people, who you are the boss, and the kind of boss you are, the kind of boss you were, if you are the boss, and they have to consult with you, they will always say yes to you. And I said that. I said so, Mr. Speaker, I said so, but today, because, am I doing anything disorderly? Okay. And Mr. Speaker, and if today, we are saying to you that there is and the member for Labi said it properly, there is a blow between recurrent expenditure and capital expenditure. Because the money you spend in St. Jude Hospital, $118 million and counting. That money, Mr. Speaker, you call it capital expenditure. But if there is need to take the nurses who are on sessions and the doctors who do not have full-time contracts, and you want to use money from a National Economic Fund to give them a gratuity or raise, you'll call that recurrent expenditure. And that is why it's blown. So we said, remove that ambiguity and give cabinet the right, as cabinet has the right to determine money that goes into the consolidated fund after it's passed by its honorable house, give cabinet the right to advise the National Economic Fund on how to spend the money, the same way it is in section 12 of this act. The same way, Mr. Speaker. But because you, the member of Microsoft, is not the one who is in control, because he's not the one who can sit on his bully pulpit and all the people around, Mr. Speaker, because he's not the one, he finds it wrong that this cabinet, the cabinet that he thought could never happen, the cabinet he thought didn't have the capability, because he said we didn't have pedigree, because we would have lost the right to speak when we lost the elections. That's what the cabinet, that's what you said, that we've lost the right to speak because we lost elections. You think we did not have the caliber or the pedigree to decide how the money must be spent for the people of St. Lucia. That's what you think, that we can't do it, Mr. Speaker. But we're going to tell you, Mr. Speaker, that for the 100 days we've been in government, we have behaved with decency, with respect, and the people of St. Lucia are satisfied with the way we have run this country for the first 100 days, and they will be satisfied in the future even more, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the member from Microsoft comes and boasts about what we are doing is what he started. Mr. Speaker, you see, what he's doing is what we started. Or what he said? What we're doing is what he started. Mr. Speaker, you know what we're doing? You don't know how we're doing it? How we have our priorities right. We are reprioritizing some of the work, some of the things that you're doing, Mr. Speaker. And that is why you wanted to spend $1 million to turn the DCA into a statutory board. $1 million for an organization that already exists as a government organization, doing its work properly, with all the rules for it. You wanted to spend $1 million to put your friends in there so that they can give approvals to anything you want. And you found that DCA was holding you back. So you wanted to spend $1 million, $1 million to make it a private entity. And I said, no, these men and women that you think have no pedigree. We said, no, put it for facility fees for the people of the children of St. Lucia. That's what we said to the Speaker. That is how we used, that is how we got what we got done. That's how we did. And we also said that the people that you are rejoicing because 189 died, we are saying the mental trauma that they went through, this Minister of Health said, no, I give them access to Wi-Fi. So at least in their loneliness, they can speak to their friends and family. That's why we gave Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, these men and women that you say have no pedigree, you know what we said? That our children have devices so they can learn during COVID. You know what we said? We said we'll buy 4,000 devices for the children of the people of this country who can't afford devices. That is our pedigree, and that is what we want to use the sinking fund for. That's what you want to use the National Economic Fund for. That's what you want for, Mr. Speaker. And if you want to call it recurrent, you can call it whatever you want. But it's the people that benefit from that, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, no amount of threats, no amount of lies, no amount of manipulation of the truth, no amount of wishing bad, no amount of bad talking us all over the world can stop the progress of the government of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Because our intentions are honorable. All of us, we come from backgrounds that we understand the benefit of hard work. We understand austerity. My father was a policeman. That is why I will always see about members of the St. Lucia Police Force. That is why our youngest member in Parliament is a policeman, Mr. Speaker. Men of all walks of life. So we understand that. We understand that. We understand it. So when you come and you believe that you can grant charge and threaten and use your people on the outside, some of them who are annoyed because they can no longer eat. They can never
Put your hands in it.
Talk for yourself. They can no longer go in the front and eat and eat and eat. You understand, Mr. Speaker? So, Mr. Speaker, I'll end here. Because I knew that a member of Chozel could not resist falling in the trap. Because he came and he started and he said, I'm not a politician, leave me alone. In and out of this house. He's become just like them. He didn't learn his lesson. And member of Chozel, if you see, you follow them, next election, you'll be in the same trouble. Because the one that was there talked more than you, you know. He spoke more than you. He was the biggest champion in town. He was the mouthpiece for the Prime Minister. They had one from Soufre. They gave him a long speech to talk about me.
6 minutes.
He came here, and he spoke for 46 minutes and 16 seconds about me. Said all kinds of things about me, things you tell him to say. And you know what I'm to him? His history. Political history, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I feel very proud. I feel very proud because the people of St. Lucia have decided that me, you call all kind of names. Me, your people say all kind of things about. Me, you tell the whole world is not capable. I today, with the support of the people of Castries East and the prayers of my parents and the assistance and the help of these men and women here and the St. Lucia Labour Party, today I can stand and say I'm a servant leader and Prime Minister of St. Lucia. And And I feel very proud, Mr. Speaker. I feel very proud. And I will work to ensure that the people of St. Lucia benefit, Mr. Speaker, and all the hopes and the aspirations that you have that we fail, it will not happen, because we all are united in our love for people, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.